Now, where does PHP fall within the greater open source ecosystem? I would say that PHP has enormous staying power. Still one of the most widely used open source languages worldwide. Now, one of the things that's interesting here for me is that we see PHP tied with JavaScript here. Now, again, our open source report, we were going to a greater open source ecosystem. However, when we were putting out the call for respondents, we also had Zend put out that call for respondents. And of course, Zend is PHP. We're the PHP company. So we probably got more PHP respondents than a company who is not related to any specific language might get normally. That said, PHP is typically within the top five for usage. And it's funny because we don't get talked about all that often. But PHP usage is huge, and it's because it's a foundational web technology. If you're writing a web application, if you're creating an API, if you're doing just a quick internal backend system that you need, maybe you're tracking something internally, or maybe you need to be able to have interdepartmental resources calibrated, etc. You're often doing that in PHP because it's easy, and you don't need to necessarily have, a massively skilled developer do it. You still want a skilled developer, mind you, but you don't necessarily need to have, the most senior developers on your team developing these web applications. So one of the takeaways from this is PHP is here to stay. It's a mature language. It's been around for, over, let's say, is it 31 years now, Adam? Uh, and really it focuses on getting things done. And so that's the big story here. So, talking about that, Adam, I'm going to turn it over to you to talk about what PHP powers.
Yeah. So here we start, break into a little bit more of the details of it. And nearly every PHP team surveyed is either maintained or is it increased usage over the past year. And only 3% reported plans to retire their PHP application. That's an important signal. Organizations don't keep investing in something they plan to walk away from. PHP is being used not just in legacy apps, but also to power APIs, services, and internal business systems alongside CMS platforms. Interestingly, usage for most application types has increased year over year. Strategically, internal business apps and APIs are often mission critical, long lived, and tightly integrated. Therefore, increases in these areas indicate trust and stability. PHP clearly isn't going away, but as usage becomes more embedded and complex, it raises an important question. Do teams have the skills and talent needed to support these critical applications